The following is a pre-recorded broadcast brought to you live for the purpose of live discussion.
Hi, and welcome to the District 5 Primary Candidate Forum here at Portland Memorial Baptist Church. We are hosting this event with Black Action Fund and the Shawnee Neighborhood Association. And my name is Emily Fleitz. I'm with the League of Women Voters. This is our 6th forum for the primaries. There's another one happening in District 3 on May 7th, and then the U.S. Senate Forum is on May 12th. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization that empowers voters and defends democracy. Thank you so much for coming.
Hello, this is DeVone Holt. I am serving today as moderator for the District 5 Metro Council Candidate Forum debate that we're having here in West Louisville. This is an incredibly important debate because this election is not only going to decide who leads District 5 and West Louisville through an important period of growth coming up, but this candidate will also participate in helping to shape the future of our city as a member of the 26-member council in the Metro Council in downtown Louisville. And so we want you to not only show up in person for these events, but to spend the time listening to the responses of the candidates in today's forum. Pay attention and take that information with you to the ballot and the polls on May 19th and on November the 3rd. Your vote matters, and we need you to be informed.
Oh wow, we got the ladies on one side and the men on the other. I wasn't noticing that. That's all right, that's all right, that's all right. It's a random order. I didn't do that intentionally. Next we'll have with us on stage, David Young. Next, the tallest of the candidates. He knows who he is. Wallace Garner III. And lastly, we'll have Ray Barker, better known for many of us as Surf Number 6. Candidates, you have some water if you need it. If there's pen and paper that you need, I think we might be able to grab that for you if you need that as well. Just a little tight, feel free to make a little elbow room, but we hope that you can fit in those spaces comfortably. All right, well, you guys have heard me lay out the rules of engagement for today, and the plan is to begin with 90-second opening statements from each of the candidates. And while these gentlemen to my right are being seated, I am going to ask Betty if she would begin with an opening 90-second comment to introduce herself and let us know everyone.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me this evening. Hope I was on there. As you all know, I am Betty Baker. I really don't have so much to say except for the obvious. I'm running because it is necessary that we enact change. I am not running to become anyone's leader. Because, in my opinion, a Metro Council is no one's leader, yet a representative of a body of people whose responsibility is to select the leaders within our community and obviously oversee the budget. But we have real work to do. So again, I'm keeping it real brief. You all know why I'm here. I'm not an activist, I'm a revolutionary. And I'm ready to stand up.
Okay. All right, April. You just grab where it works. Go ahead and share.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is April Herman. I am running for Louisville Metro Council here in District 5, where we are located right now. For those of you all who may not be familiar with the entire district, that is Shawnee, Chickasaw, Portland, and a small portion of the Russell area. I am a lifetime resident of District 5. I have actually lived in all parts of the district, and I do understand each unique culture that each part of the district brings. I was asked to run for the seat, and I am honored to be able to stand here before you today, leading that cause. I am ready to work for the people. I am ready to fight for the people so that we, as an underserved district, can see some progress. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, our sitting Metro Councilwoman for District 5, Donna Purvis.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Councilwoman Donna Purvis. I'm a second-term, 8-year councilperson. I am seeking re-election to continue the successes that we have created here in District 5 on behalf of the community. I don't think it's a good idea to change in the middle of such great progress, and so I'm seeking re-election to continue serving this district. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. David, what you next? Yes, it's a 90-second introduction. Who you are, why you're running.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dave Duncan. I am a District 5 resident, and I am looking to become the next council person. I am a small town native, but I've lived all of my adult life in the West End, spent considerable time in District 5. I feel like it's time for a change. We have a lot of stuff happening in our city, and we want to make sure that the person that you select is able to propel District 5 into the future with new thinking and broad ideas, and someone that's direct, clear, and concise. So on May 19th, I humbly ask for your vote. Dave Dunn for District 5. Nice to see everyone.
Thank you, Dave. Okay. Walt?
My name is Wallace Barney III. I'm a lifelong resident of Louisville, Kentucky, and a lifelong resident of West Louisville. I was born in Beach Terrace, raised on 22nd and Hale. I lived in District 5 for 28 years. I'm a retired veteran from the United States Air Force and a retired teacher. In most of the years, 20 of those years were years in West Louisville, Falls Traditional Academy, and over at Dan C. Bick. I run it because I've seen the deterioration of our area, and I feel that my administration is the only one that can effectively address everything that's going on. It didn't take this overnight for this to happen, and it won't take overnight for us to fix it. So I humbly ask you for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Wallace. And lastly, we'll ask Ray Barker, sir, from the seat.
My name is Ray Sir C. Barker, and I'm running for the simplest reason, and that's because we are family. I love this community with a big L. In order to change the community, you have to have a vision of where you want to take this community. I'm here to fulfill my dream of taking West Louisville where it's never been before, showing West Louisville what a servant leadership means, which means serving the people. Hopefully, those that have told me how much they love me, I love you twice back. But I'm running so I can show this district what true servant leader is.
Thank you. Let me ask this from a logistical standpoint before we get started, because I saw so many people over here stretching their necks to try to see the people who are over here speaking. You guys don't have a clear line of sight, do you? Can I get a man with a good back to come help me scoot this table up just a tad bit and we'll move these microphones, just so that we can get a better clear line of sight on the candidates. I'm sorry to do that, but I just want to make sure that everybody, actually, you don't need to. That a little better? I'm holding.
You maybe want to
Let's scoot it up.
move the table.
Okay. Very good. All right, well, let's get more questions, and because Betty was the first to introduce herself, we will ask the first question of April. And we want to spend the first few questions of today's forum talking about public safety. And so our first question that was framed by the three organizations that are helping to host today's event is about violent crime. Those violent crime statistics in Louisville, they have improved, but many District 5 residents say that the streets still don't feel safe. Beyond the numbers, what does real public safety look like in this district? And what would you do, April, first to answer this question, that isn't already being done?
Thank you for such a question. So when it comes to crime, violent crime in District 5, it is said that 50% of violent crime in Louisville happens in District 5, so it's a very serious matter. My approach to that is that I don't believe that people just wake up and commit crimes. I believe that they commit crimes when their basic needs aren't met. And I believe that our government knows that as well. And so policing, while we need police to address immediate crime, I think that we need to address the root causes, which is what I would like to do by bringing more services for mental health, substance abuse, and the lack of opportunity to District 5. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll ask the next, same question. You, Don, you talk about beyond the numbers, what does real public safety look like in this district? And although you are the incumbent, the question is, what would you do to improve upon that that's not already being done?
Thank you, sir. Sorry I had to take my mask off so you can hear me. I will continue to support the efforts of the Louisville Metro Police Department to stay engaged and involved. I don't see anything wrong with getting out of your patrol cars and talking with your neighbors, talking with kids. We have to make these children feel comfortable talking to authority, therefore they will not become a statistic. Also, we need to address crime by going home, talking with the parents, engaging with the parents, help them to help their children to stay out of crime. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. That's the same question to you, David.
I was doing some canvassing yesterday, and one of the areas I went by was Madison. And I started off on like 22nd Madison, because that's like the district cutoff. 22nd to like 24th, 25th of Madison, you have some, very well put together homes. People were outside on the porch, but the further west you got, the grimier you got, next to the, I guess, old ice cream stand, that's the fish house now, it's an abandoned building. And I saw a young lady coming out of the abandoned building. So to answer the question, I do feel like we have to incentivize LMPD to physically get out of their vehicles and reenact patrols so that they can engage with the residents and the residents can engage with them. We also need lighting. There's a formula for criminal activity, and when there are too many dimly lit areas, that's a recipe for disaster. So we need police outside and we need more lighting.
Thank you. Bob? I feel free to take those off.
We have to attack this situation from the beginning. It all starts at home. Parenting, the young child. That's where it starts. We have to educate the children. Research shows that all kids that go to Head Start are most likely to finish high school and start college. And so with that number right there in mind, because this is a numbers game, all prisons are built according to how many young black males are in third grade. Research shows that. You can look it up yourself. As far as the police are concerned, we need more neighborhood watch programs in which I will enact at least 3 blocks per neighborhood. And so with those being intact along with the kids getting educated earlier, that's going to cut down on crime. We have to front end load this, not back end load.
Thank you. Great work.
As a retired police officer, I can help this community be a bridge. Because see, this community doesn't trust the police, and the police are scared of you. So we can use someone to be that bridge and improve the communication. And then our thugs in the neighborhood, there's nothing wrong with getting out and talking with them and finding out what's going on so you can come up with viable solutions.
Thank you. And lastly, the same question, Betty, we're going to ask you. Beyond the numbers, what does real public safety look like in this district, and what would you do that isn't already being done?
Well, first and foremost, as we all know, poverty breeds crime. So when you have a poverty mindset, you can only imagine what that would entail. But real quick, so for those who don't know, as active as I am with my children and others, our children also have their own mindsets, correct? And what's so funny is, what I tell you, what we have experienced today is horrific when it comes to LMPD. As my son was at a community function en route rushing to get here, he was just harassed by LMPD and threatened. So my answer to this very vital question is, it's time to get back to the roots. I know many of y'all probably seen the movie Original Gangsters. It's time for us to police ourselves and hold LMPD accountable for their actions and take them back to the drawing board on how to properly approach all of us. Thank you.
All right, down to this question, we'll start with you. Mayor Greenberg's administration created the Community Commitment, Louisville's version of a consent decree, and launched a Community Safety Commission to give residents a direct voice in crime reduction. How would you empower neighborhood associations in District 5 to lead that commission's work and name one specific preventative, community-based safety initiative you would propose to address the root cause of violence in West Louisville?
That was like 10 questions.
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry.
So, a few of you all may know, involved with making sure that the community commitment becomes a law. We don't need policies. Policies can be changed. We need a law to secure police reform. I'm planning to have talks with State Rep Pearson out of Memphis to address how they administer their consent decree. And then you were asking me about say that other point again, please.
So the last one, name one specific preventative community-based safety initiative you would propose to address the root causes of violence in West Louisville.
Neighborhood block watches. When neighbors are committed with each other to look out for each other, that right there in itself is a cure for crime and violence. So I definitely encourage neighborhood block watches.
Thank you. Thank you. Dave, we'll go with you. Same question. I know that was a lot, so I'll read it again. That's okay. How would you empower neighborhood associations in District 5 to lead that commission's work and then name a specific preventative community-based safety initiative you would propose to address the root causes of violence in West Louisville?
That was a very long question. But to answer the question, to echo what folks have said previously, we do have to get back to policing ourselves and holding ourselves accountable as a community. The police are, we call police when something's happened. We have to be proactive and not reactive. And for too many years, we've been reactive. So reinforcing the importance of those neighborhood block watches is important, because what we can do for those organizations is help them organize and structure meetings that are conducive for the working class person. So everybody's not gonna feel like coming to a meeting, Tuesday at 6 o'clock. So we have to work around the residents to make it conducive for them. We also have to provide them the funding to provide, food and snacks and things that will get people to come outside. Now, as far as the actual policy, give me the last part of the question again, I'm sorry.
Name a specific community-based safety initiative you would propose.
I think we can get back, and we did this in school, but I think we had something comparable to what's called like a safety control, which is the extension of the neighborhood block watch. I think that would be an effective way to reduce crime.
Thank you.
As I mentioned earlier in my statement, block watches. I want to extend on that community-oriented policing, which they had in 1994, which I was a part of. I started 3 neighborhood block watches in 22nd, 23rd, and 21st in Hale. And so with the help of an officer. And so we're going to extend that. And not only that, we're going to have advisory boards. It will meet once a month with our administration to track progress. So with that being said right there, and the officers, we want to have them walk the beat, of course, from April to November, also ride horses, and also ride 3-wheelers, because they do have them at their expense. Thank you.
Thank you.
The root cause of violence in West Louisville is lack of resources. I'm hearing these answers and I totally disagree. If we, as I, as your council person, will look around and see what resources I can reallocate to help this community, we can attack the root cause. Not only is it lack of resources, but it's lack of economic development down here. It's no secret why crime is flourishing down here, but we can get rid of it. I'm ready to get rid of it.
Again, I know it's long and it's convoluted, so let me take one more shot at it to make sure you get it. We talked about the mayor's, essentially the consent decree that's here. The question becomes, how would you empower neighborhood associations in District 5 to lead that commission's work? And then the question is for you to name a specific preventative community-based initiative that you would propose to address root crime in West Louisville.
Again, poverty mindset breeds crime. I'm gonna continue to double down on that because that's something that people need to know and understand. But when it comes to our neighborhood associations, they are filled with great leaders who actually do the work. However, the neighborhood associations feel like they have to fight tooth and nail with these new pop-up nonprofit organizations just to receive funding. So one of my plans of action is to make sure that we put the funding where it needs to be, and that's the people who do the work. So we will be funding the neighborhood associations accordingly under my watch. And as far as, like an example, let me give y'all this. The definition of fun is to be amused. If you look up the origin of amusement, it's to be fooled. So when it comes to constantly doing these little events and pushing fun, that's a no-go. We need to start funding our youth, funding our neighborhood associations, and making sure that we are supporting them 110%.
And April, you bring up the rear on this question.
You said it. So what I want to make sure that we understand is that the people's consent decree, it was brought about to bring about policy change, and it was for legal oversight. And once that was denied and we didn't get that, they brought the community commitment into play. That was Mayor Raymond's version of it. However, how it sits right now is not what we need to codify into law. We do not need another task force. What we need is community education so that we can organize together. The Kentucky Alliance is already hosting classes about the community commitment where neighborhood associations can come and learn. If we educate ourselves together, we can then build committees within our own district to be able to come up with what we think the services need to be to decrease all of the violence.
All right, okay. And one last question that we'll ask the candidates today about public safety. We'll start with you, Dave, and this question is a 2025 consultant report found that building a new Louisville jail would cost taxpayers between $389 million and $530 million. Meanwhile, 23 people have died in Metro Corrections since May 2021. And the facility routinely exceeds capacity. What policy solutions would you propose to address overcrowding and deaths in Metro Corrections?
That's an excellent question. I think first and foremost, we have to have some type of oversight as it relates to the jail situation. I know that we can put policies in place to have a watchdog organization go in periodically, quarterly, semi-annually, to go in and make sure that the housing conditions, I guess I should say, or where they need to be up to standard, because just because they are in jail doesn't mean that they don't have basic human rights. And that many deaths in that amount of time is completely unacceptable. So to answer the question, I would be an advocate to have an outside organization be able to go in and monitor the jail situation.
All right, thank you. Well,
As I used to tell my students, my job is to shut down the prisons and the jails so to give them an adequate education. And as part of that, teenagers who are getting in trouble and becoming young adults, there's an option for them, which is at Bluegrass in Fort Knox, to actually serve out the sentence being in boot camp. Statistics show that many of them that go to Bluegrass come out and either join the military or come out as responsible citizens. With doing that, it gives them a second chance without having that jail record and able to become responsible citizens. And that's really what we want them to be, is responsible citizens. We don't want them locked up forever. Thank you.
Everyone watched the #1 golfer in the world get arrested by local police. And he got out of jail faster than he got arrested. He was able to tee off with no delay. But yet, an average citizen gets arrested for not having a driver's license, and they're there for a week. And you wonder why it's overcrowding. How about some common sense policies here? You know, if we can do it for one, we can do it for all. And that's where I'm leaning at, is common sense policy to help and know to build another jail. You gotta learn how to man the jail that you got.
You hit that right on the nose. Not too long ago, it was a young lady that was arrested because she pulled into a parking spot that was meant for the handicap, when that's clearly an offense that could receive a ticket. Also, it was one of my elders. She was about 67, 68. She was unable to get to her insurance card in time, and they booked her too. So when it comes to the overcrowdedness of the jail downtown, it's obvious that it's a lot of over-policing going on within our community, which again, we need to push with taking LPD back to the drawing board so they can learn how to become human beings again and properly assess situations, especially for our community. Because yeah, there is a gap there, but let's be honest, that gap's there for a reason. So yeah.
So the question that you asked is about overcrowding and deaths in LMDC, and I think that we can get a solution very quickly if we wanted to. I just sat here and Googled very frank numbers about how many non-violent inmates we have. That number is 1,350 to 1,400 people who are being held in jail on non-violent crimes, but the kicker is they cannot post bail. They have a bail that has been set, and they're sitting in there because they cannot afford the bail. And so I think that it could be handled by enforcing law HB 463, which allows for citations for non-violent crimes. Thank you.
thank you. And lastly, Councilwoman Burns.
I'll keep the last one, sorry. Okay, so, going back to Mr. Walker, it appears that we do need common sense laws. I think sometimes our jails are overcrowded because we have inmates that are being arrested on really minor things. And I really rather have overcrowded dormitories instead of overcrowded jails. I think that we need to create some type of incentive for kids to stay out of trouble. I'd rather see them in dormitories instead of in a dorms in a jail cell. I have worked with Director Collins before. In particular, there were 2 inmates there. Their families reached out to me that the inmates were not getting the medical treatment that they needed. And I reminded him that one more person dies, it's not going to be good for you. So, thank God I had the authority to make a difference for the inmate. But I don't have a problem working with state legislators to address and changing some of these laws. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. So we'll shift gears now to go from public safety to economic development and displacement. I think in all of their opening statements, each of these candidates made at least some reference to economic development in West Louisville, and we want to delve a little bit deeper into that with these next few questions. This question will start with you, Wallace, about economic development. What's your specific vision for economic development in District 5 that creates jobs and opportunities for current residents?
First of all, we have to follow the ordinances, but probably since the ordinances are outdated, we have to rewrite them in accordance with the plight of District 5. We've got alleys that are a mess, and garbage everywhere. And with that being said, no one wants to move their businesses to West Louisville and District 5. And so we've got to clean up the district. In order to clean up the district, we have to rewrite the ordinances, make sure the people take care of their properties. And so that means people take care of their properties because that's part of the ordinances. So we've got to educate the people on what the ordinances say.
All right, thank you. Ray Barker, economic development.
We have a lack of resources because we have a lack of vision. One of the visions that I have is to put an on-ramp and an off-ramp on 34th and Broadway. If you can imagine, all those cars that feed 264 go over our community instead of through our community. If they got off and got their gas and got their food, you know, it would be an economic boom. And I've been told no, even though I opposed this 5 years ago. But here's the difference. Out in the East End, they wanted a bridge to go across to Indiana. They got that bridge. I guarantee you it's going to be something I'm going to work on as your Metro Council to get that on-ramp and feed this community new resources.
Back in 2023, I introduced to a couple community leaders a plan of action in order to bring jobs right here to our district, to the entire West End to be specific, which would assist it with keeping our youth busy and assuring that our elders within the community has that assistance to upkeep their homes. I have a neighbor right now who is a very fine man who is now, he's sickly, and his gutters is overgrown with weeds. Is that his fault or is it the fault of the community? Because last I checked, it took all of us to come together and actually be neighborly and not participate in hood politics. So with that being said, as far as economic development, it's possible here in District 5. What we need to see is leadership change so we can make sure that backroom deals is not continuing on. That's the only reason we don't have nothing, let's be honest.
Yes, I'm sorry, my mic is so loud.
Move it back a little bit.
I believe the question was about economic development
Yes.
and creating jobs.
What's your
Okay.
vision?
So, my approach to that is in order to create economic development, you have to have economic dignity. And I believe that that is created by who is doing the building in the district. And so we can see there is a huge number of developers that are in our district that don't look like the people that represent the district. My approach is to bring Black and brown developers to the table to make sure that they make up at least 25% of the development that's happening in District 5. And then we can create development that will provide employment for the people in the district, and those wages that they make need to be enough for them to afford housing and food and things of that nature. So it starts with, for me, economic development.
All right. And Councilwoman Perkins.
Real quick, I'm going to use my 30 seconds to address Mr. Barker's comments about the interstate. That is not at council level. That would be at the state level. Here locally, we do not have the authority to execute an exit, an additional exit. And also, you will also experience some of the properties that exist along that corridor. They will become eminent domain. So we will lose a lot of existing properties, like Pyramid Federal, maybe Long John Silver's and so forth. But I wanted to let you all know that I'm currently working with Louisville to increase economic development, and asking Trevor Paul, who is over Louisville, let him know that we have a lot of vacant commercial properties available. So trying to get these people interested in coming here and utilize some of the vacant commercial properties that we have.
All right, thank you. And Dave, before we start on this question about your vision for economic development in West Louisville.
So one of the things I always just talk about the folks who are older than me is in the 70s, when you left high school, you could have left high school with an HVAC certification, a plumbing certification, etc. Today, that's not the case. So I feel like one of the ways to kind of jumpstart an economic boom in this area is to bring back those programs to the high schools, so that when a young person leaves high school, they can go right into an apprenticeship with an existing local company. Now, that same philosophy applies to whether you're in school or not. There are plenty of 18 to 20 somethings that are just kind of wandering around the city. We probably have in our family and friend circles that have no direction. So I feel like that's an easy way to kind of jumpstart economic development is we have to have skilled laborers first. The pretzel company moved to the west. One of the pushbacks they gave people was they said there were not enough people in the neighborhood that had the skills to work there. So we have to make sure that we have the people that are trained up properly in order to be able to move forward to push the economic boom in District 5.
All right. Economic development, we know, doesn't happen in a vacuum. And as much as we want to challenge our Metro Council members to help lead some of that work, we know that there are other agencies that can help expedite it. And recently here in Louisville, Greater Louisville Inc., the local Chamber of Commerce, recently merged with the mayor's Economic Development Agency to create what Councilwoman Purvis just recognized as One Louisville. And so as One Louisville now is recently established as the new Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development Agency, the question that I'm asking you, Ray Barker, is what would you do to ensure that public resources invested in One Louisville include a concrete agenda for District 5?
Well, first of all, I'm going to use 30 seconds of mine to rebuttal. I appreciate the council person addressing that it's not my job. It is my job as the leader of this community to spearhead something that's going to change this community forever. We got to give big business a reason to come down here, and that expressway will give them a reason to come down here. As far as the chambers, you know, that really doesn't affect West Louisville. I would come up with a plan that's all West Louisville, that our dollars will circulate with us and build us up. I'm not interested in what they're doing in Greater Louisville because it doesn't come down this far.
do to ensure that public resources that are invested in One Louisville, the Chamber of Commerce, include a concrete agenda for District 5?
I feel like Mr. Ray. I don't care nothing about that because we don't never see it. We the laughing stock of this city. Let's be honest. We got a walking path that isn't even complete. And is that due to funds or due to people lining their own pockets with money that's supposed to be right here for District 5? And then they get mad when we get our hands together, sit at the table and figure it out for ourselves. And then guess what they get to do it from her? Pointing the finger. You ain't do this right. You ain't do that right. So I'm not interested in One Louisville. I'm only interested in the West. District 5 is specific.
That's a great question, and I do believe that anything that has to do with the taxpayer dollars should also include the taxpayers' voices. And so my approach to that, as we create the District 5 Advisory Board, it would be to collect the voices and the concerns and the opinions of what the people want to see. And then it is my job to spearhead that with One West, with Metro Council, as the representative for the district.
Thank you. Councilwoman Purvis, you just recently referenced that in your last comment. Can you tell us more about what you're doing with One Louisville?
I can tell you what I like to see more in District 5. When I was first elected on the council, I met with economic development, and I asked one of the ladies what are her plans for West Louisville to include District 5, and she looked at me like I was strange. And so I had to remind her, listen, you're here to work for the entire city. We have other parts of the city that are making these economic development demands and changes, and we need to make the same demands and changes. I know the Councilwoman Hawkins is here in the audience. She and I fight constantly with people about people downtown making decisions for what we have and what we don't have in this area. So I will continue that fight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Same question. Essentially, what would you do to ensure that resources invested into the newly established One Louisville Chamber of Commerce include a concrete agenda for District 5?
There are a few things you can do. I think one is we have a physical presence west of 9th Street. As we know, historically, 9th Street has been the divide between one part of the city and another. So having a physical presence in the west is important. Additionally, you want to be able to fund local and small businesses. They can implement micro grants anywhere from $1,000 up to $10,000 that would incentivize people to one, get in business, and two, stay in business, hopefully. And then lastly, I've referenced this before, we want to have a direct process where we can get folks trained up and get them ready for the workforce. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Lastly, Walsh.
Hit me on that again, please.
Yes, sir. What would you do to ensure that public resources invested in the city's newly established One Louisville Chamber of Commerce would include a concrete agenda for District 5?
The key word right there is ensure, not guess, not hope, not pray, ensure. In other words, anytime they're having a meeting, having your face or your representative in the place where they have those meetings to decide where the money is going. And so we have to do that. Also, being a member of District 5 Council, you have to be able to reach across the aisle. There's money that's going east that doesn't necessarily have to go there. They've got money. If you can reach across the aisle, they'll give you money to work with the rest, but if you're playing footsie like they're doing now, then you're not going to get it. So I'm going in, not playing, serious about what District 5 means. Not soft-shoeing down there and smiling in people's faces, but letting them know, look here, we've been avoiding us long enough. And this is what we need on our end.
Thank you. All right. And you already answered that question. So the next question is for Betty. Betty, what give you a problem to solve? A long-time District 5 resident comes to you and says that they're about to lose their home because rising property assessments that made the tax bill unaffordable. As their council member, what's the first call you make and to whom? And what specific policy tool do you use to help them stay in their homes?
Well, first, we're gonna have to go to, what is that, the sheriff's office? And grab that form. You said this is an elder, is that what you said? Is this a senior or
Just a resident. A long-time District 5 resident.
Because you say a long time, well, I can't say it because I've been outright homeowner since 2013 here in District 5. So let's just assume that this person is 65 or older. Well, we all know that, it's a form that are available where they can get their property taxes down, lower for them, just based on their age with that. So last I checked, when I went down there, I had to go over on Court Place and go up to the fourth floor, I believe, or the third floor, and I had to speak with them, the place where you go and pay the property tax or whatnot. Yeah, so anyways, even though the location in the actual department slips my mind right now, I know the steps to take because I'm a homeowner myself, and I'll be able to help with that.
Okay, thank you. That's the same question to you.
So, if I understand correctly, the question is when people are struggling to pay their taxes, how to help them stay in their homes?
Correct.
Okay, and so you said who would you call first? I believe that would be the Kentucky Homeownership Protection Center. And then if I'm unable to get all of the help that I need or none of the help that I need, I would then walk with them through calling Louisville Metro Home Preservation. And I believe that there's also different grants and opportunities that people are able to apply for, and it's probably just going to be based on like what they qualify for. But I do believe that help is available, and if not, then I'm going to be looking and trying to see how we make it available.
All right. Scott Burns?
Yes, sir. I'd like to reiterate that we passed the ordinance again to make sure that these investors cannot buy their property taxes when you cannot pay them. So that in itself secures homeownership. This is how a lot of investors obtain properties in these types of areas. Also, there are other agencies out there that can help you that if you're in the fear or threat of losing your home, such as the Kentucky Homeownership Protection Center. There are agencies out there that can help you. One thing I can say, I have a lady that works in my office, Ms. Carver. She's very, very knowledgeable of these nonprofits that have people that are in need of such help. So if any of you are faced with these issues, please feel free to call us, 574-1105, and surely she can help you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. David, ask you the same question?
No. So yes, I would first contact the tax assessor just to get a clear picture as to how delinquent the person is, because sometimes those numbers aren't the same. So first, that would be my first step. Find out exactly how much this person knows. On the person's behalf, I would attempt to try to take a two-pronged approach. One, the business side, then the social services approach. But on the business side, I will reach out to the tax assessor and but on the person's behalf, ask if there's something we can do to buy this person one time. On the social services side, and I'll do this every day, and I'll just reach out to the community and explain the circumstances. And we talk about, each one teach one and being a village. That would be a prime example of us coming together. Just a matter of everybody in the community donating $5 to this person, so we can keep the taxes down, or get the taxes paid and get it back on track and buy some more time so that they can stay in the home.
Thank you. Wallace?
What we've heard is something they can say that for 1 year. How about the next year? It's going to be the same situation again. So the house is going to appreciate. That means it's going to be worth more the next year. So what we have to do is, first of all, if you're 65 or older and you're living in your house, that's called a homestead exemption. That 49% of your taxes are cut Believe me, I know it, because I'm older. When I turned 65, I couldn't wait. Your assessment is going to go up every time, and you want it to. You want the house to be worth more. So if you sell it, you can get more money. And so there's no looking back on this and saying, well, I don't want my house to be worth more because I don't want to pay that amount of tax. I mean, you have to get that in your budget, as bad as it seems. We have to get that in your budget. Excuse me, but as mentioned earlier, there are programs to help you get started their first year.
All right, Ray Barker, same question?
Well, the very first thing I would do, I would be one, accessible to that person.
All right.
They will not feel alone in this battle.
Thank you.
Number two, I will be committed to that person. And I would form me a team for that person. That team will first consist of legal aid, because legal aid don't charge you nothing. They will step up and help them and guide them what the law says. Then we'll contact a PBA. Then we will get somebody on my staff to hold our hand through this process. One of the problems with leadership is we forgot how to serve. The people need to know that they are not by themselves. Sometimes we're going to take on situations that's not ours, but just knowing that you're not by yourself helps 100%.
Oh, yeah.
April, this next question starts with you. The West End Opportunity Partnership was seeded with $10 million in public tax dollars. And that organization is created for the express purpose of facilitating economic development in West Louisville. How would you use your council seat to ensure the WEOP, the West End Opportunity Partnership, decisions are transparent to District 5 residents? And, two-part question, what criteria would you use to determine whether a WEOP decision genuinely serves this community's long-term interest? Long-term interest, I'm sorry.
Okay, that is a great question. I would first say that I would like to see the promises made by the city officials with WEOP and the West End TIF that we were forced into. I would like to see those promises fulfilled. I would like, and that being like what we call affordable housing and the mixed income development that was brought into the picture. When we talk about different issues that our district is plagued with, we're really talking about poverty as it relates to District 5. That organization, WEOP, was designed to eliminate these things. They already had a plan in place. My job is to enforce the plan. My job is to hold them accountable and to make sure that the residents of District 5 have their voices heard on what they want to see done through the WEOP board.
All right, thank you. Dr. Parker?
You told us we had to tell the truth. So I'm gonna say this. I reached out to the WEOP board after getting numerous complaints from constituents that they needed clarity on the whole process. I asked them to come to government oversight to explain what is going on, what is not going on, to answer some of these questions, and they boldly told me that they did not answer to us.
Wow.
They do not have to be accountable to us. And you're talking about taxpayer dollars.
Right.
We have assured you with to help further development of these 9 neighborhoods in the West End. So I'm still trying to swallow that. So that's my answer.
Okay.
Did you talk truth?
Question again is the West End Opportunity Partnership was seeded with their $10 million of taxpayer funds. How will you use your council seat to ensure that their organization's decisions are transparent to District 5 residents? And what criteria would you use to determine whether or not their organization's decisions
Whether it's being a mother of 6.
Of West Louisville?
Well, I think it's important that we have seated at their tables, and if those funds are taxpayer funds, we have to your point earlier, we have to be where they are. We have to raise our voices and we have to be steadfast as we not ask them, we tell them that we demand that we are included in this process. And this goes back to something someone said earlier. Most of the government programs that are available to folks, oftentimes people disqualify because the process is too cumbersome, it's too long. So I definitely want to have something in place to kind of streamline all the hoops that you got to jump through to get access to these funds.
All right, thank you, David. Walter?
We've got 27,000 roughly residents, I want to say registered voters, but I don't think that's the case. Residents in District 5. And it's up to us to get in touch with them if we can, and let them know what's going on. As your Metro Council representative, I'm going to have multiple advisory boards that are getting the word out to them, letting them know how they're being cheated, how they're not being adequately represented by this city we live in called Louisville, Kentucky. And so with that being said, we'll call press conferences, as our council person said, that they want to have anything to do with us, we're a non-entity. We'll put it out on TV. Let them say it to the newspaper, let them say it on TV that we're a non-entity, and see where it stands then. That's right.
She's the boss.
As I do not understand that money that they have collected, $10 million, which is supposed to help this community. The first thing as your council person I'm going to do is understand the rules that govern that money, because that money is supposed to change the quality of life. I thought the council person held a seat on that board. I could be incorrect. But if they don't have a seat on that board, then as your council person, I plan on firing some people on that board, even if they said I don't have the power. When I bring it back to you all, and you all find that your $10 million is not helping you, you're going to get mad and you're going to give me the strength I need to create some change.
Baby said amen.
That's right.
Ben, same question to you.
Y'all remember the rebirth program? Well, quick story time. My grandmother, my understanding, 41st in Maine, owned her house. So that made, I assume, my mother qualified for the rebirth program. Not, for the record, too much red tape. So when it comes to what the tip and the we are, my plan of action is to dismantle it. It needs to go. Because ain't no way I paid over $2,000 in property taxes and I see no change. I can't call for y'all. But yet, like, what has Rio done for anyone sitting here today? Or the tip, like, what has it done? I can't talk to y'all. I can speak on it. Oh, okay.
Oh, you want to answer that? My apologies.
She started it.
Okay, my apologies. I'm losing track. This next question, and the next two are going to be about spending priorities. And we'll start with you, Dr. Purvis. And I'm going to frame this question to you a little bit different because you are the sitting council member, and then ask it differently for the others who are vying for that position. But the question is this: every council member controls discretionary funds for neighborhood development and capital improvements. How do you engage District 5 residents in deciding how that money is spent? And do you commit to any specific criteria for distributing those funds?
First, for the record, Mr. Brock, I just want to let you know I am not on the We Out board. I think you referenced that, so I just wanted to let it be known that I am not on the We Out board. As far as the neighborhood discretionary funds, we use those funds to support nonprofits who engage and support community efforts. For example, Omega Psi, they have a huge going back to school event where they provide school supplies for the children. The capital improvement funds, as you all may know, we've used a big chunk of that for sidewalks and speed bumps. So improving infrastructure is very, very important. Thank you.
And is there criteria that you use in distributing those funds?
And, well, yes, you have to be a 501c3, you have to be registered with the state, and people need to understand that we don't get a lot of money.
Okay, I'm sorry. Dave, we'll go with you, for that same question. I'll ask it a little differently since you are not, the rest of you are not a sitting council member. Since every council member controls discretionary funds for neighborhood development and capital improvements, how would you engage District 5 residents in deciding how those neighborhood discretionary funds are spent? And would you commit to any specific criteria for distributing those funds?
That is a good question. So, first and foremost, since the funds come from your dollars, I would ask you directly, what organizations do you feel like deserve access to these funds? That would be first and foremost. And then secondly, with those, if we have an organization that does qualify for said funds, I would propose doing like a draft. So if we say they're getting $5,000, I would give them $2,500 of the money, and there has some kind of checkpoint in place to make sure that they're doing what they say they're going to do. So yes, there would be a criteria, but it wouldn't be 10,000 hoops for them to jump. It would be clear, concise, maybe 5 points or less for them to be able to access this money.
Okay, thank you. Well,
The Metro Council person representative gets $175,000 a year for their budget, and roughly $70,000 to $75,000 goes for the legislative aid salary. So that leaves $100,000 for what you just said. Now, with that being said, you've got 27,000 people here that want something from it. So there's got to be some criteria for it. And it's not all going to happen that same year. Keep that in mind. Paperwork, advisory boards, community efforts, you fill out the paperwork. Yes, there's paperwork involved, and a needs assessment that needs to be done. Who needs it most and who will prosper for it most at that particular time. Once that is taken care of, we'll take care of that. Also, we can add money to it. That's where I go back to what I said earlier about reaching across the aisle, having friends across the aisle and donate money for that. And so we'll try to accommodate you, but there's no guarantee that first year for everyone.
The discretionary fund is the fun part of being a council person. And the way I would have set up a criteria is I would take a little bit from my discretionary fund and network with the other councilmen. If your project only takes $5,000 and I give $500, there's 26 of us. And so each one of them gives me $500. We're going to be where you need to be. But then in turn, I would do the same thing with them, but it would cause my money to stretch farther. And so I can do more with that.
all right. Okay, that's the same question to you. Discretionary funds, as a council person, how would you issue those and what criteria would you establish?
Yes, so for those who don't know, Metro Council is privy, each Metro Council member is privy to 3 different type of funds that they are supposed to allocate. What's funny to me is one of them funds, they get like, what, 30,000 for office supplies or something? I don't know, it's in my notes somewhere. But anyways, and they have the discretion to move their funds around accordingly to whatever plan of action that they have, whether it be developing assistance with organizations or whatnot. One of the things that y'all can guarantee that I won't do is I won't find a business or pop up nonprofit organization and give them $1,000 for a bouncy or a photo booth because we have more pressing issues here. That's it. I want to go right now.
Just start talking.
I want to spend the first 30 seconds of my question going back to the We Up question. I want to make sure that everybody does understand, because it was stated that there's no representation on the We Up board. Tammy Hawkins, Councilwoman Tammy Hawkins, who is sitting right here with us today, she does sit on the We Up board. She is the representation for Metro Council. I'm pretty sure that she would answer questions about the connection of what is being spent through WEOP in the West End. Also, what we need from the West End, from WEOP in the West End, we do need more transparency, but we need that transparency to be communicating to people how to apply for whatever it is they have to offer. And then the last thing I'll say about discretionary funds, that comes through being engaged with your residents. Y'all know we have not had anybody that we can talk to where we are able to say, we know what we experience in this district. We have been underserved. So, through advisory board.
Thank you. Okay. This is our last question on spending priorities, and Dave, we'll start with you. It's a hypothetical question. Challenge you to think a little bit, but if you received a $1 million grant tomorrow that had to be spent entirely within District 5 in the next 12 months, outside of any existing budget, what one project would you fund and why? And as you think, I'll ask it again. What one project in West Louisville would you fund if you received a $1 million grant that needed to be spent in District 5 within the next 12 months?
Existing or hypothetical project?
Outside of any existing budget. Mm-hmm.
That's a good question. $1 million. And I got how long to spend it? 12 months?
12 months in District 5.
I would have to ask the residents of District 5 how they want me to allocate their money.
All right. Well,
I go to Vegas and try to double down. No. That's exactly what we really need, you know. A massive cleanup project. Because you've heard me say time after time again, that we need to clean up our district. So if we have $1 million, that would go a long way to start this massive cleanup. And then other things will fall in place as far as businesses want to move here. All District 5, they get us, you'll begin to see a difference. It won't be a food desert. Stores will want to move here then. Industry will want to build here then. Because crime will go down because bugs and rodents and roaches and criminals like dirty areas. Now there's no dirty area. So that $1 million go a long way towards cleaning up the district.
Ray Barton?
DeVone, thank you for that question. Which goes back to what Sir Froman told you guys. I got a vision where I want to take us. If I was just magically given $1 million, at the end of Shawnee Park there is all grass and board. I would build a horse farm for our youth to go. Because see, our youth have been hurting, but they don't have any way to release that anger and hurt. And if I build that horse farm down there, they can go and experience something brand new and have counselors to talk about what's been hurting them so that we can stop some of this violence with our young people. We got to deal with this, but this is thinking outside of the box, so I hope I get that $1 million.
Thank you, man. David, we got $1 million. What are you going to do with it?
So let's say I do have $1.6 million. My plan is to get all of what y'all like to call finance together. In a few of the non-mean girl and I still want to be young 40 and 50-year-olds that actually want to see a change take place. And I will break them up into groups. And each group will service our elders. You know, going back to these broken homes, right? We got homes that got chip paint, but we got our 7-year-old granny out there. She's not grabbing that. So I'll get my YNs together. I will get them together and I will fund them and they will support our seniors. That's what will be going on with the 1.6 that I'll be in control of. We're gonna actually skip paint.
Thank you, Betty. April, $1 million. What are you going to do with it?
$1 million. The first thing I'm going to do is provide city-funded grocery stores, which you can see on my website is one of my political points has been since the beginning. I believe in city-funded grocery stores, and I want to also see city-funded utilities. The way LG&E is handling us right now, I would like to use that $1 million to make utilities city-funded to where the residents of Louisville as a whole will be able to have a voice at the table before any increases are made.
Dr. Burks, you got 12 months to spend $1 million inside of District 5. How do you spend it?
I want to see something tangible. I want to pave every alley that I can get to. A lot of our alleys have potholes that breed mosquitoes, that causes diseases and illnesses. So paving is very expensive. So I would like to pave every alley that I can get to in the district.
All right, thank you. How we doing, everybody? We doing all right?
Yep.
We've got a few more questions. You know, hang tight with us. These candidates have been doing a great job of responding to these questions, and I want to just thank them for continuing the pace and the rules that we've established for today. We're going to work our way through just about the last phase of these questions with the questions around the topic of quality of life. And Wallace will start this next question with you. It says, much of District 5 is classified as a food desert. Residents lack basic access to fresh, affordable groceries. What concrete steps would you take as a council member to change that?
I was riding with one of my friends the other day, and he said, stop right here. He said, I would like to have a garden right here. And as we continued on, he also said he wanted to have a farmer's market in certain areas. And there are areas here where you can have farmers market. When I was growing up, we used to have what they call downtown, I forgot what they call it, down on Jefferson, the hay market. I never saw hay, but I saw vegetables and fruit. So we can have a hay market or two down here in this area. There's no reason why not. I see people on the side bring, some vegetables and fruit, but I'm talking about something constant, something you can rely on all the time, where you know timely they're going to be there on this day at this time. And so I'd like to see that done to begin with. That's just a start.
All right, thank you. Ray Barker?
I'm going to keep hitting the hammer about resources. We're a food desert because people are afraid to come to us, Louisville. And so I'm asking you all to let me help us take care of the narrative that's been wrote about us. We live here, we know that narrative is not true. But when the media reports us, it's always the Shawnee Neighborhood, Portland Neighborhood, Chickasaw, Russell. But I want you guys to notice this, but when they report other neighborhoods, all they give is just the location. On Gardner Lane, there was 2 people shot, but they don't say the neighborhood. But they throw us in. So in order to stop that food desert, we got to change the narrative down here and deal with some issues.
All right. Betty, what do you say about this question around West Louisville functioning as a food desert, and what concrete steps would you take as a council member to help change that?
So to double back to what I was stating in regards to how these funds get passed around, because I don't heard what no one's talking about, that's a great big issue. If we still continue to have representation focusing on buttering their friends up and not focusing on who actually do the work, we're going to continue to have a food desert. Because I can sit there and campaign all day long to say, hey, we need a Whole Foods right here in the West End, but let's be honest, as us still depending upon outside source versus ourselves, we have Gordon's right here in District 5. But guess what, y'all? They don't get the funding that they need out of the that they deserve because they're not friends with those in positions that has funding that can actually catapult them to the point where we can have them fresh markets down here. Shout out Miss Velvet Rebel.
Hey, what would you do to address this challenge of West Louisville functioning as a food desert?
Can you repeat that?
Sure. Since much of District 5 is classified as a food desert, residents like basic, fresh access to fresh, affordable groceries. What concrete steps would you take as a council member to change that?
So I don't know how many people have heard about the Green New Deal, but the Green New Deal is something that I believe with because it's not just one issue. We're experiencing multi-layered issues at a time. And so with the Green New Deal, one of the things that it does is it ensures unionized jobs, but it also creates high-wage jobs, which will be able to go into the food desert and eliminate that problem. But also, again, back to my answer that I answered the last question with city funded grocery stores, municipal grocery stores that will be able to operate that will be able to provide what it is that the people say that they need. But then lastly, having farmers markets. We don't have enough farmers markets here. We have Change Tomorrow that's doing a great job, but they can't do it all by themselves. And so I would definitely take some of those discretionary funds that we were talking about, and I would have fresh fruit. Okay.
Thank you. Now, Burns?
We have to have incomes here in this area to support some of the grocery stores that we see in across the city, Publix, Whole Foods, Fresh Gardens. This is why it is important that we get people jobs. People are not going to go to areas where they will not be financially supported. And this is one of the reasons why I've been at the table with TARP and GE and trying to form a relationship with them to get people jobs so that they can be transported to get some of these 800 jobs that they have to offer. So if we can build up our own economic development within our own homes and our families, we can get the grocery stores that we want and the grocery stores that we desire to have.
Okay, thank you. Jay?
I love this question because this is something that's near and dear to my heart as it relates to this area of town. It's easier to get a gun in District 5 than it is to get an apple, and that's unacceptable. I remember a couple years ago at the Wild 18th Street, there was a Kroger mobile truck that pulled up, they opened up shop. It was fantastic. I haven't seen it in a while, but I know those options exist. So mobile food trucks, mobile produce food trucks, whether it's Kroger or someone else. And these ideas don't take 5 years to implement. These can be implemented tomorrow. Incentivize our brothers and sisters to have more healthier options. They were doing that for a while. They have fallen off tremendously. Bring farmers markets in that accept EBT, and we want to be able to provide funding for folks to take these empty lots and turn them into urban gardens.
All right, thank you. This next question is for you, sir, from the seat. Vacant lots, abandoned properties, and illegal dumping remain persistent problems across District 5. What would you do to address these problems?
Well, first of all, there's a housing shortage in Louisville, and that's why a lot of people are unhoused. And why is the housing problem? Because of the vacant property. And why are the vacant properties still vacant? Because someone needs to do the work and streamline and unclog whatever's clogged up downtown. I can't figure it out from this side here, but I can tell you this, I'm ready to go downtown and figure out how we can get rid of these abandoned houses and put some body into them. But we can't put bodies into these houses until we come up with policy and streamline it and get rid of what's clogging it up right now.
Ready? Vacant lots, abandoned properties, illegal dumping. What do you do to address those problems in West District 5?
So, I'm gonna leave y'all with a little bit of homework. You know, these, abandoned Family Dollar buildings, I want y'all to take the time and go on the website and see exactly who owns them. It's gonna be so funny to you. And then when it comes to a lot of these abandoned properties, because one right next door to my home, bringing my property value down, it was so funny when I seen that Louisville Metro owned it. And it's horrible, y'all. So one of the things we're gonna do, we're gonna attack it from within. Because everybody keeps saying we the problem, like, let's be honest, who's really the problem? And then when it comes to our alleyways, again, going back to when I asked the question, I introduced the plan back in 2023 to those who call themselves leaders and allocate funds. And I wasn't nothing but laugh at as if that plan of action wouldn't work. It would have stopped y'all house from being broken into. It would have stopped these guns from circulating the way they circulate. And we wouldn't be looking at the stress broke down properties right now. Let's be honest, they playing in our face.
Vacant lots, abandoned properties, and illegal dumping.
So, we gotta have a real conversation. We gotta be real with this, y'all. When we talk about the vacant buildings, it's the land bank system that isn't working for the residents in District 5. The land bank system is what we need to, where the improvement needs to lie between the elected officials that we have, having that relationship with the residents in the district, and then being able to advocate with the land bank system for what we need. It needs to be better communication. My goal is to make harm reduction sites out of a lot of these vacant buildings to where people have access to mental health needs. And then as far as the alleys and the trash, there is an organization called Clean for Change that is ready and willing to focus solely on District 5.
Thank you, Dave. Donna Burns, same question. Vacant lots, abandoned properties, and illegal dumping in West Louisville. What do you do to address those problems?
Illegal dumping, I encourage every year to put more money into for surveillance cameras. In some of these areas that people are illegally dumping, we have dumpers from all parts of the city, other parts of the county, Indiana, that are dumping in our area because they feel like our area gets the least attention. So I encourage investing into surveillance cameras, but I want to also say that all of the vacant properties and lots are not owned by land bank. Some of them are privately owned. These people have a lot of leeway, so I'm already talking with state legislators to see what models can we create to address this. Put some stipulations on the ownership of abandoned properties. If it's abandoned for so long, it should go right to the hands of the city to go back into the housing stock. Now, I currently work with developers, Atkins and Atkins, Red Hill properties that have successfully rehabilitated some properties.
Thank you. Dave, same question to you around vacant lots, abandoned properties, and illegal dumping. How do we fix that in West Louisville?
We definitely want to work with the state legislators because as it stands now, these property owners, there's really no penalty for them to take these. They can sell these houses for 30, 40 years, and I think it's kind of the plan, kind of the plan. Affluent areas are created and slums are created. There's no other way around that. Right. So while this homeowner is sitting in Florida on the beach, this abandoned house that he's been holding his family for 40, 50 years is becoming an asshole, and it's a recipe for disaster as it relates to crime. Another piece of that, in how it works as far as the land bank and whatnot, if we're serious about attracting and retaining the young people who are doing what they're supposed to be doing instead of just running out of the city, when a young person graduates from college, let's give them one of those homes. When a young person graduates from trade school, let's give them one of the homes. We want to incentivize people to stay in West and stay in District 5 because we can't keep letting the best and the brightest escape the city. As far as ran out of time.
But thank you.
That's easy to run out of time on, right? There's a lot of work right there for that. So I'm gonna make it quick. First of all, in order to solve this problem, we've got to rewrite the ordinances, people. That's the law of these. Now, vacant lots are concerned. Let's talk about that. The vacant lots have to, first of all, have to find out who owns them. Get in touch with the owner. And in my administration, we're gonna have boards that their job is to find out who owns them. Abandoned houses, the same thing with those. Find out who owns abandoned houses and give them fines if they don't keep them clean or sell them. They should be for rent or for sale, not just sitting there. We'll get them fined. And also the alleys. I've already gotten some alleys clean. Yes, I'm not in Metro Council, but I've been called and I've gotten a couple of alleys clean. There may be someone in here that can testify to that. Illegal dumping. There's already fines for that, but we're gonna have to upgrade that. It's gonna have to be more money that they're gonna have to pay. I'm working on a situation now where it's illegal dumping, so people call me about that. So I'm already working.
All right. Okay. And so the final question that we will ultimately ask is the candidates to provide closing remarks. But before that, there's one last question that we want to pose, and I want to frame this just by helping provide some context for this question based on some work that I've personally done. For almost a decade, I functioned as the Economic Development Director for West Louisville through work at the Chamber of Commerce before this recent merger. And I remember working with businesses in this community, encouraging them to offer first right of refusal to West Louisville residents for certain jobs as an enticement to support economic growth and activity and for an increase in home values and investment in the people who live in this community. And I can recall on a few occasions there were a few businesses that committed to do that and hired people in the jobs, and hired people from West Louisville in the jobs that paid $70,000, $80,000, $90,000. And I remember going back 6 months, 12 months later to talk with those businesses about the people that they hired from West Louisville and how things were going. And almost invariably, they all said that after getting those $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year salaries, that every one of those employees left West Louisville. They moved out of West Louisville.
Wow.
And so it undermined the effort and the attempt that we had to put money in the pockets of people in West Louisville. But this last question is one that we'll start with you with, Betty. It says, according to census data, District 5 has lost more residents than any other council district in Louisville over the past decade. What would your plan be to reverse that trend and make this community one where people choose to stay or move to?
That's heavy, because I have family members who got them good jobs and was born and raised here, and you can't pay them to come down here unless they're getting paid. You said this is the census over the last 10 years, as far as tracking that data. Well, to counteract that, my plan actually would be to focus on beautifying our community. Going back to these abandoned houses, yeah, it is some big wigs that own, but it's also some that's owned by major corporations who have their pockets in the hands of those who are supposed to lead us. If we really want to enact change and tackle what we see and stop people from taking the money and running out of West Louisville, we gotta first get in that door, get a real person in that door to stop them from playing in our face. That's how we keep our people here.
Thank you, Betty. Thank you very much. April, how do we keep people here in West Louisville and attract others to come to District 5?
Yeah, so, I do believe that people are moving out of District 5 at a high rate, but they're not just moving out of District 5, they're moving out of Louisville, for better opportunities to get away from crime and whatever. I think it goes back to, once again, the economic dignity that is created through economic development. And I just want to share that, the jobs and the programs that we have, that are here, that they're not necessarily created for us, and we know that they're not created by us. We need to focus on ownership. We need to focus on equity, and we do that by having minority developers at the table. As your councilwoman, I will have Black and brown people, working class people. I will have developers at the table that understand these things, and they will create and will build. If we're not building generational wealth, then we're not a part of anything that is being built in District 5. So we have to focus on economic development.
God purpose, what we do to make sure that West Louisville continues to grow by attracting people to move to this area and retaining the ones that are here.
Continue sticking up to these departments such as public works that don't live in West Louisville, but make decisions for what goes on in West Louisville. I have told these people before, I am tired of you with your studies. I'm tired of you saying what we need and what we don't need. You don't live down here. Stop telling us how we're going to live. Prime example on these blinking lights at these intersections that I did not approve of. These lights are dangerous. I know that they're going to be causing accidents. I'm constantly reminding them of our need. I have to remind them that when there is funding available, don't put people on a 3 or 4 year wait list for a sidewalk when we have the funds to get these things done. Because you want to hold up these jobs to get them to your friends. So right now I'm encouraging minority procurement so that we can continue delivering for the district.
Thank you, John. Dave, same question.
First and foremost, Black people got to change the way they look at things. There are some Black people that associate progress with whiteness or progress with living in Black forest. There is a massive flip that's happening in West Louisville. If you can't see it, you're going to be left out. I see people all the time on Facebook. I want to rent a house, but not in the West. You're going to look up 30 years from now, you're going to live in Anchorage, and the white folks are going to be back downtown. So that's first and foremost. We got to change the way we think. Now, as far as retaining folks, we got to have more jobs. We got to have more skills. We, of course, need grocery stores, so we need retail. We need things to incentivize people to not only come here, but stay here. Stay bonus. We go to certain jobs, they incentivize you to stay a certain amount of time. Yeah. We can do the exact same thing and live in District 5. You stay here 5 years, you're going to have this percentage of the tax break. You stay 10 years, you get this percentage of the tax break. And then lastly, we got to have more positive things for Black people to do. This is considered the white Atlanta, believe it or not. There's a lot of stuff for white folks to do here, a lot. I know people say, well, you got to know what white people are. That's not everybody's vision. Sometimes when if you go to DC, Atlanta, Charlotte, there's tons of things for black folks to do, not enough of it here in Louisville for us.
Wallace?
Give me that again, man. He did. Good job.
He did. He really did.
You looked down my paper like you did in school.
What was the question here? The question is, what is your plan to reverse the trend of people moving out of District 5 and make this community a place where people choose to stay and move to?
Well, to me, it always starts with education. Always starts with the kids. This didn't happen overnight, our problem. It's not going to be fixed overnight. So we've got to invest in our kids in elementary school and Head Start. Give them the proper education so they'll grow up and want to stay in the community and be good citizens of the community and invest in the community. We've got to start teaching them that everything they said was good, you heard up here, but that comes later after the investment in our kids. The pie in the sky routine is not going to work. I sat there and heard the pie in the sky all day, and it's making me sick. We have forgot about the kids. We've got to invest
Jim, the kids.
Sir, feel the seat.
Thank you, sir. You know, everybody in the world knows about Indiana football now. They're national champions. But how did they get there? They changed coaches. And that coach came in with a vision of where he wanted to take that team. And he took that team. And now because he took that team there, everybody's a Hoosier. Well, West Louisville's no different. We need to change our leadership because I'm coming in with a brand new vision of where I want to take this community. In order to take it somewhere it's never been, is unscripted. You have to change leadership. And that's why I'm running for Metro Council.
All right, well, we pushed through 12 questions, and we'll finish with our final closing comments of each one of these candidates vying for District 5 Metro Council seat. And Betty, we started this process with you with opening comments, and so you will end with your closing comment. We will start this closing process with you, April, providing a closing comment from us in 90 seconds as we circle back around.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out today. You all look amazing. I'm glad to see so much community involvement. Give yourselves a round of applause. And then I would just like to close with saying that the reason you should vote for April Hearn is because I have been doing the work. I have been fighting. I've been in Metro Council meetings, speaking truth to power. I go to the committee meetings. I go to the caucus meetings. I make sure that I know what's going on. And also, I have earned every single endorsement that was given to our incumbent in the last election cycle. That is because I am seen as the one that can get the job done. The leadership that is seen through my campaign is what has allowed me to ensure and secure those endorsements. The trust has been broken between what we have, the representation we have, and the community. You know it, you feel it, it is now your lived experience. I'm not afraid to say it, and I am able to change it. So I want you to think about this on May 19th when you go to the polls. You have a lot of amazing candidates up here, but I am the one that has put in the work. Thank you.
You've got 90 seconds to make your closing comments.
Thank you. Thank you for doing a great job.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to say congratulations to your endorsement from the Democratic Party here locally. I did want to point out that this is the first time that they have ever endorsed anyone in the local primary. So they do not have an endorsement history. So I've never received endorsement from the local party here. But I also would like to say that I have a printout with all of my accomplishments for people that say that they don't know what I do. I have it here today. I'm not a writer. I'm very quiet in what I do, yet I am very effective. And so if you want to know what I do, I have a printout here that tells you everything that I've done, the successes that I have made here in this district. I think it is very important to continue on the road to success. So therefore, I am seeking re-election. Be smart about this. Re-elect experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
There were a couple things that I guess we got nervous and forgot to mention. So there's two things, if elected, that I would put in place almost immediately. One, if we live in this area, you speak with this, there is I was getting confused, overpass, underpass, whatever you call it, on River Park to get on the expressway. It's also known as the can opener. I was taking my daughter to the bus stop the other day, and that area was blocked off because the semi truck had its top peeled back. That's something that's been happening for as long as I've been alive. And the solution is so simple that you got to lower the road so the trucks can get through there. That's something that I would take care of immediately. Additionally, when you're getting off that same expressway, there is no signage for any business or anything in West End other than Noah Sports Complex. Every other neighborhood in the city, if you get off the expressway, you're going to have a gas station icon, restaurant icon, etc. There are gas stations and restaurants in West Louisville. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, the signage is not there. Right. I'm a current business owner, and I'm also a target case manager. What that means is I help people who've had struggles in life and help redirect them. So I'm the perfect person for the seat simply because I understand the business aspect, I'm smart, and I also have an empathetic heart to work with folks who are on the fringes of society. So on May 19th, if you are satisfied with how things have been going, then you know what to do. If you're ready for a change, which based on my feedback, my research, a lot of people in this district state they're ready for a change. If you're ready for a change, there's no other selection that you can make besides Dave Duncan for District 5. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
When I was young, I used to ride down in this area, and on Sunday, my father used to take us for a ride. We used to come through here, all the way around the parkways. And I said, well, when I grew up, I'd love to be able to get down there. We couldn't go to Fountain Ferry and no place like that, to Dude Ranch. Now, I've been living down here 28 years, and I'm disappointed in what I see. But I still see an oasis. I still see the beautification, and I want to bring that back. I'm a lifelong Louisvillian. I'm a veteran. I'm retired from the Air Force for 23 years. I'm a 23-year teacher. 20 of those years I've taught here in West Louisville in District 5 and District 1. I appeal to you to vote for me on May the 19th, because, not just because I'm the best candidate, because I'm probably the only one up here that hasn't been looking at their phone and getting answers to these questions. And as Metro Council representative, you've got to be able to work off the cuff, just like being in law. Things change in the courtroom. Things change in Metro Council. Things change every day, and as a council representative, you've got to adjust. And I'm here to let you know that I will adjust, and I will work for you because you're the people of District 5, you're the boss, and yes, I approve that message.
Thank you, Robert. Ray Barker, Supremacy.
My name is Ray Supremacy Barker. And what it is a privilege to have served you. I'm the only candidate up here that have earned every community service award this community has to offer, from being a Bell Award winner to being named one of the top 10 police officers in the United States. My work is everywhere. Even when I look on this panel here, I've got 2 young people that I mentored when they were in elementary, and they're running against me, and I'm so proud of both of them. But that's who I am. But as a retired police officer and a former Marine, if you want someone to deal with crime, here I am. If you want someone to deal with the housing problem, here I am. If you want someone to deal with the dirty alleys, here I am. If you want someone to deal with the economic that's not happening in our community, here I am. If you want to find out why we got $10 million in our community and yet it's not helping anybody, here I am. And we just had an elementary school to close, so you want to deal with education, here I am. I'm running because I love you.
Ready to kick us off, and we'll close us out with final closing comment.
Yeah, I'm grabbing the mic for this.
Okay, all right.
So, I was told that I'm in the way, and I don't know nothing about politics. What is she doing? Let's first get a clear understanding. Out of everybody that sits on Metro Council today, only like 2, maybe 3 of them have a background in political science. That's facts. All of them they use our tax money to do what? Go training, some of them in Africa, be for real. So, I may not have a degree in whatever, but I'm very knowledgeable. Not only am I a mother, a wife, a caregiver to my parents, I'm a notary, better yet I'm the notary. I helped many people right here in our city, in the West End. I helped develop many successful businesses and organizations that actually do the work. And although it may seem like right now in my life, it's a slap in my face, I'm proud to be that champ for our people. So now, I am gonna have to take the training like every other political leader, true enough. But you don't gotta train me to be real. And I know my people. I am Betty Bailey. Little Biggie.
Let's give these candidates a round of applause. I'm especially thankful to see so many candidates interested in providing leadership in our community. I don't have to tell you all, you guys see it locally, statewide, nationally. We need leadership, and the idea now that we have 6 candidates who are ready to step up and lead District 5 to me is a tribute to the potential and what's possible here in our community. I want to encourage you guys to take everything that you heard today with you to the voting booths on May 19th. And on that day, I need you to be very aware of what will happen because we are entering into a new phase of voting for Metro Council candidates and mayoral candidates in Louisville, Kentucky, where this will be a nonpartisan race. You will not see a Democrat. You will not see a D or an R beside any of their names. What you will have the opportunity to do is vote when you see these lists of 6 candidates. And what will happen after May 19th is the top 2 candidates will then find themselves on the November the 3rd ballot. And your job will be to vote between the 2 top candidates that come out of these 6. And so be very mindful of what your responsibility is and the task that you have. And that's to make good, smart decisions about the candidates that we elect, understanding and knowing where we want this district to go, understanding what we believe this district could become, and knowing that there is leadership asking for that task and responsibility. Who when they are voted in, we all collectively have to work to help keep them accountable for the things that they've said today, all right? And we didn't get to have this audience ask questions, but LOW, the League of Women Cities, the Black Action Fund, and the Shawnee Neighborhood Association has prepared a reception where we're inviting these candidates to come and spend some time with you, where they can get to know you and hear more about your concerns about our community and hopefully take that with them on the campaign trail and give you more confidence about the candidate you want to vote for. Again, we thank you guys for being here, and let's give a round of applause and thank you for the candidates of the church for making this
Whether it's being a mother of 6 or a grandmother of 4 with 1 on the way, whether it's running the Bail Project, whether it's standing up for what's right, whether it's being your council person for District 3.
This has been something that we as a body should recognize.
Whether it's working to fix the issues in this city. Whether it's being the executive director of Vocal Kentucky. We now understand what's needed in this city, and that is new leadership. Louisville, it's time. I've seen enough of Louisville from many vantage points to know what we need as a city. We all agree that we need new leadership. I'm hoping, 1, you go and vote on May 19th, and 2, I'm hoping that you vote Shamika Parrish-Wright to be your next mayor.
This is brought to you by the people to elect Shamika Parrish-Wright.
Hey y'all, I'm Attica Scott, former Kentucky State Representative, and you're joining me today on State Election Night.
We will continue to provide updates as we have more information.
Kentucky State Representative, and you're joining me today on State Election Night.